Hey everyone, welcome. Good morning. Liverpool are going to be taking on Brighton and Hove Albion, which I've discovered you have to be very specific on that if you want to Google Brighton and get Brighton's fixtures come up, like with every other football club. Do Tottenham, do Spurs, fine. I'm pretty sure you could do the Ev and still get theirs, but no, you have to type in Brighton, or at least to get there. So important and largely boring lesson that I just thought you all there. Yeah, I'm Paul Mitch and Chris Pajak is with me for this one.
It's been ages since we've done a day like this.
Been a long old while. Not only me and Chris back in the studio for a watch along, but also an early kickoff on a Saturday as well.
Glorious.
Very nice indeed.
Glorious.
Let us know where you're.
To be alive.
Yeah, let us know where you're watching from. What time is it? Where
right
you
here,
are
Paul.
right now. Yeah, so we had some rumours leading up to the team. The team will be out officially in about 3 minutes' time, so we'll go to the board as and when that happens. But I saw a tweet from our good friend Chris Khan, who was absolutely sensational on the. What's that?
It's Chris Hulko Pajak.
Okay, cool. Why?
Someone said in the comments.
All right, our good friend Chris Carty was brilliant on the debate show this week. Says no Canate on the team bus, and then he was asked what about Virgil and Thiago, both on, is his response. So yeah, it looks like no Canate in the side. There were rumours that they'd missed training. There was rumours around a couple of other players as well. We'll have to see how that sort of shakes out. How are you feeling about this one though?
All good. I mean, much better actually, because I forgot that Brighton do well against us recently.
Yeah.
So up until, an hour ago, I was feeling really confident about this. I then found out that we've not beat them in 3.
Yeah.
Losing 1 and drawing 2 of those games. So up until that point, I was feeling really good. And I am feeling really good because I like playing before Manchester City. Yes. I liked being able to put the pressure on them.
Yeah. For what it's worth.
For what it's worth. And not have the added pressure of them already winning and then having to chase more points to garner back and stuff. So for me, listen, Brighton play a good brand of footy. I think they've proved over the last sort of few years that they're tough to beat against us. They play a brand that they're going to stick with. You know how they're going to play. The more Jurgen comes up against the side that he knows how he's going to play, I feel confident that he's going to be able to find a way through. Yes, the midweek result wasn't good enough, but it was good enough at the same time because we went through. The performance maybe wasn't there, but you're in a bit of a tough place, I think, when you take a 2-goal lead into a game. You're almost, are you sticking or are you twisting type of thing, isn't it? And I think Liverpool were caught a little bit between two minds as to what to do there, whereas you can only go full throttle against Brighton, and that's a good thing.
My overall feeling on it was, you have these games sometimes where did we play Atletico before we played United? I think we might have done, and when you play a team that's really, really, it's full of good players, it's got a good coach, and they're very well drilled and very well disciplined, and their mission number one is to upset you and what you do. If you get through that, it kind of doesn't matter who you've got next time out because it's never going to be as difficult, and it's a bit like playing with the handbrake on. And you're doing training where you're running with weights or whatever, and then all of a sudden they get taken off and you're flying, and that's my kind of hope. On your mention of our recent form against Brighton, do you know what our results have been, or what our form has been like at the Amex?
No,
we have never lost there.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean we've not played that many games there, to be fair. 2011 was the first time we played. Beat them 2-1, beat them 5-1 in 2017, beat them 1-0 January 2019, 3-1 in July 2020, and drew last season there in the November, which is probably feels a worse result because of how it sort of conspired, and Andy Robertson's toe and Danny Welbeck's toe and all that bad stuff. But yeah,
there is more hope though. Obviously I mentioned us losing 1 and drawing 2. We've never gone 4 without a victory against Brighton in all competitions, so that bodes well.
Yeah.
Admittedly, that is offset by the fact that Brighton have lost each of the last 4 Premier League games and haven't lost 5 consecutive league games going back till April 2007 when they were a League One side.
It's got draw written all over it, this, hasn't it, therefore? Yeah. Right, so the team will be out momentarily if you want to get yourself over the board, mate. Scott Hawks has sent a super chat in. The boys are back at the desk. I just need half a gallon of coffee. A torrent of... Jesus Christ, Chris. Sorry. If only you guys could see what I can see. It's a sight to behold. Chris the Worm Pajak has just expertly avoided the camera, but not my eyeline. Sorry, Scott. A torrent of goals and Salah firing his agent for a perfect day. Wouldn't it be a perfect day indeed? Right, the Liverpool team is out, and with it, it is the man, the legend, Mr. Chris Pajak.
Yes, so in goal, it is Alisson Becker. At right back, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk and Andrew Robertson. Same back five as it was midweek against Inter Milan. Changes are rung in midfield. It's Fabinho who keeps his place in the six. The two substitutes against Inter, Henderson and Naby Keita, both start this game. Luis Diaz starts on the left-hand side. I'm assuming Sadio Mane in the 9 and Mohamed Salah on the right-hand side. Substitute-wise, we've got Kelleher, we've got Gomez, we've got Costas, we've got James Milner, Harvey Elliott, Thiago, Jota, Kurt Jones and Firmino. So no place on the bench for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, for Divock Origi and for Ibu Konate. This is actually the 11 that are picked from the starting 11 this week, so I'm quite proud of myself. I thought, for me anyway, Jota, since he's sort of come back from injury, hasn't quite hit the heights that we've seen. I've really enjoyed seeing Sadio Mane in the 9, which is kind of why I went for Sadio Mane in the 9. Luis Diaz has that midweek rest almost, and then he can come back in, firing for this early kickoff Saturday morning, of course. So, yeah, I think for me, that's a really good side. I've been really impressed with Naby since he's sort of come back into the side as well. Jordan Henderson, after sitting out, he was always going to start because you can't. I was sort of talking about this the other day, there's absolutely no way when you miss Inter Milan as the captain of Liverpool Football Club that you're then going to miss Brighton midweek, because Jurgen's not stupid. He doesn't want to have the captain shouting at him and knocking on the door and what the fuck are you doing, Jurgen? Why aren't I playing? Why are you playing Harvey Elliott in this game? Why are you playing Kurt Jones ahead of me? That just was never going to happen. So for me, it was always kind of obvious that Jordan would come back into the side. This front three's played really well together, hasn't it? In the few games that they've had together, you know, we want to get Mo back in the goals, even though, you know, it's only been a couple of games really. Mane's done really well in that 9. I thought he did really well in the 9 against Inter when he was moved there and swapped positions with Diogo Jota, and we've all been so excited to see what Luis Diaz can do in a red shirt over and over again, and we want to continue that. We want to see that. We want to see him build on those early performances in that red shirt. It's been a great start so far for Liverpool. Hopefully that continues for Luis Diaz today, Paul.
Yes, let's have a little look at the Brighton team. Then we have got they have got Sanchez, Lamptey, Cucurella, Dunk, Bissouma, Maupay, McAllister, Trossard, Alzate, March and Veltman. Sorry, can we just cut back to Chris Pajak? No, that's me, Joe. There you go. Look at him. Actually, Chris, just quickly, someone pointed out that you didn't mention that Taki wasn't on the bench as well.
Sorry, Taki's not on the bench as well.
Okay, cool. Right, Sad. Yeah, you may return. Genuinely, we need an extra camera in this room. There's just no need for that. It's fine. It's honestly, what a fucking guy. What a guy. Right, sound. Yes. Yes. So we've seen any thoughts on? There he is. Ta-da! Pop-up pirates over there. Thoughts on the players that missed out? Taki Minamino being one of them.
Yeah, look, I think he'll be disappointed, of course, but the Carabao's finished now, and that was his competition, wasn't it? You know, 6 goals in those 7 games in the Carabao Cup for Taki Minamino. But you know, actually,
from Carabao,
of course I did, yeah. And I saw you talking about that tweet actually more than I saw that tweet. Didn't you tweet something like, oh, they've had a lot of joy out of us winning the Carabao Cup? A lot of
value for money in that competition.
And I think that's, look, he'll be disappointed, of course he will be, but when you need to get Firmino minutes in his legs again, because he's the more important member of the squad, and when you still need to get minutes in Diogo Jota's legs, it's kind of obvious that he's not going to be on the bench at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and also we're kind of gearing up towards we're a week away from an FA Cup game against a Championship team, and look, to be fair to Forest, a decent Championship team this season, one who put Arsenal out as well. But there's going to be opportunities for a couple of these players to be starting. I'd be shocked if Minamino's not starting against Forest, and the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain as well, but that's kind of where it's shaken out. If I was Oxlade-Chamberlain, I would probably be a bit annoyed because, well, you know, there's 2 kids, effectively, who've usurped his place even on the substitutes bench at this point. But that's the nature of the game. That's where Liverpool are at, and it, you know what, it doesn't suit how Liverpool are at the moment. It doesn't suit the "I'm a fan of a player" culture that seems to have become bigger and bigger over the last decade in football, because you're gonna fight if you support an individual player and then that player doesn't make it onto the substitutes bench, you're gonna be really upset, because Liverpool are gonna have to do that quite a lot, particularly for the rest of the season. I think that'll change in the summer, but I'm pleased with that team, Chris. I think we won't be too far off that for Arsenal, honestly, as well. I wondered whether we'd be slightly weaker for this one, but the problem is that I don't know what slightly weaker really looks like. There was an argument, and we did this on the build show, someone mentioned, I think one of the lads said, maybe Tsimikas for this one, but he's another one where he's definitely going to play next week, and I wonder whether Klopp's mentality it is, Arsenal's our game in hand, great, but it's for nothing if you don't win this game. So he's going to ask, I reckon, 9 of these lads to go again at Arsenal. As much as possible, and go, and then you probably, most of them then won't play at the weekend.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. I think, one of the lads that's probably going to miss out at Arsenal would be Naby Keita, and I think that's because Thiago comes back into the side. I think he's a good shout for it. Maybe your other player is one of the front three, and it's likely to be Mane or Diaz. I can't decide who yet. Depends where he wants to play Diogo. Because if he likes what Mane's done, and don't get me wrong, he scored 4 goals when he's been playing in the 9 since the AFCON.
We've got to remember, sorry Chris, that Mo Salah might not be able to play because of the sound of the clearly hysterical laughing of his agent in his ear, cackling away like a fucking moron. Might damage his eardrums, something you want to watch out for, Remy.
I think what you're saying is right. I think probably 9 of these players go again. There's maybe a shout for Ibu if he is available for the game, because I don't think Arsenal like physical defenders, and Ibu certainly is that, but Joel's been playing so well and he's proven over the course of this season that he can go back to back games, that I'd be more than comfortable with either of them, and that's a great position to be in, because like your dad, I'm one of those guys who just likes to see 2 centre-halves play together week in and week out. But this season's the one where I've gone, wow, 3 can do it. And for the first time, I feel confident whatever centre-back partnership we're putting out there. And that would extend to Joe Gomez as well, by the way. Although I have some really, really slight reservations about Joe.
My only reservations on Gomez is that he just needs to play football to be up to get himself up to speed, but we haven't got enough football to offer him to get him up to speed this season, which is why you're starting to see a lot of those quite obvious sort of paper talk bits about him moving on. And then I heard the first mention of his England career, etc. was that we read its head this week. I mean, the worst case scenario is Joe Gomez will get football for Liverpool and he'll go back to being a brilliant centre half as he has been for us, since he moved there anyway.
Sorry, just on that, anyone that's seen the shows over the last few weeks, my really slight reservation is I'm not sure he's as fast as he was, and I think that was what made him as good as he was as well. But the last time he did play, he looked faster than the time before. So, for me, that was like, I'm not sure he's as fast as he was. And then it might just be a fitness thing, a match fitness thing or whatever.
Yeah,
and I might be completely wrong on that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we've seen that with footballers. We've seen it with Virgil.
Yeah, he's... It's how much do you trust your body type of thing. And Virgil, I think it took 3 or 4 months before we started to see him really trust his body in the way that he did prior to the injury. Gomez is coming off multiple injuries. I see the way I went for multiple, but started with more. Multiple injuries there. So I think it's going to take longer to build that trust in his own body.
Yeah, and I think there's a degree when you're getting back to match fitness, you actually are probably told, don't go flat out, because you've got to do it. It's a couple of 90s before your muscles are ready to stretch in that regard and stuff like that. But yeah, it definitely want to keep an eye out for. But I mean, again, there's a chance that Liverpool's team. I was talking to you beforehand, but I did an interview with Dan Taylor for an Athletic piece on the FA Cup, and he was saying the hope for Forest is Liverpool put a weakened team out, and I said, yeah, and that's fair.
But our weakened side's really good.
But our weakened team's probably got It's probably got Joe Gomez at centre half. It might have Queven Keller in goal. It'll have Greek international Kostas Tsimikas at left back. Don't know about the right back scenario, but probably James Milner. The midfield could easily have Curtis Jones, Javier Elliott, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. It could have Naby Keita in it. It could have Jordan Henderson in it. The front three could have Dib, again, and you go on and on and on. So yeah, a weakened team isn't quite what it meant. Big shout out to Danny Hartley-Smith, who is our mod in the live chat today on the YouTube stuff, and doing a stellar job as always. She
loves Joe Gomez.
I do too, to be perfectly honest, and how could we not? He's wonderful. Yes, not really too much more to say on that, to be perfectly honest. It's going to be an interesting one for Sadio Mane, because I agree, I like Mane as a centre forward, but I do think he's on borrowed time in that position, because Jota and Firmino are both back. So it's whether he's
picked up the goals that Jota was scoring. That's the encouraging thing with Sadio Mane. Yeah. Whereas I think what we saw maybe a year or 2 years ago is that actually two of the front three can score goals. And it was our left winger and our right winger for the most part. And I kind of assumed anyway that it was because of what Bobby did in that number 9 role. But what we've seen Jogo do is move that number 9 role into a slightly different area. And he's been able to get goals as well. The fact that Mane's been able to get those goals from the centre is really, really encouraging, because he's not trying to play it like Bobby. He's actually trying to play it more like Diogo, which is really, really cool.
Well, it's just interesting. I think the way Liverpool have changed their approach this season is we definitely play with a number 9 for the first time in years, an actual number 9, and it suited Divock, it suited Jota,
Minamino.
It suited Minamino to an extent as well. So yeah, I don't know whether it's just Mane's just the best of the options, and he's ticking over nicely. But it does bode well if you put someone in there. I was Firmino back. I think he's become the forgotten man at Liverpool, and that's not his fault. His body. I'm concerned that his body's finally starting to let him down. But I'm not going to make that judgment on him, because he could do with a pre-season. He could do with having a summer off. Now, whether we keep him, I don't know. But yeah, he's been more lethal in front of goal as well, because he's benefited from the job. Doesn't need you to fight in midfield anymore. Your job requires you to get on the end of stuff in the 18-yard box. But positive times for the Reds anyway. There's a tweet here from Michael Reed, at Michael_Reed11. Very, very interesting follow always. Naby making his 100th appearance for Liverpool in all competitions today. The first Ghanaian player to reach that total for Liverpool. Ghanaians the 29 different nationalities to have a player reach 100 appearances for the club, and 7th African nationality. There you go.
Wow.
Fantastic little stat for you as we gear up towards Brighton versus Liverpool at the Amex. We will be doing the watch along. We will be back at 12:15 for that one, so make sure, if you haven't already, subscribed and click that notification bell on YouTube. Do just that. If you need more content in the meantime, there's loads of free content. We've got Jurgen Klopp's pre-match press conference, and we have all the pre- and post-matches now streaming both on YouTube and on podcasting services like Spotify and iTunes, etc., etc. So if you want to get them, you can get them through us, which is great. And we've got loads of extra bits and pieces as well, streaming right now on Redmen Plus. We're also gearing up towards Jay Pearson's Ecru story documentary, which is coming out in a couple of weeks' time. The trailer is out for that now.
Very much one of them where the Crew rises to the top in terms of documentaries.
Absolutely nailed that. Well done. Did he
just text me that?
Outstanding. But yeah, make sure you head over to redmentv.com. Get involved with Redmen Plus. There's loads of stuff to keep you occupied in the meantime. You go over there, you click the big yellow button on the side. I'm logged in, but it normally would say join now on that side, and then you can join now. There's an update on Liverpool's Anfield Road expansion there, which happened. Steve went down to the ground to get a closer look at what's going on. So if you want to know what's happening on the ground around Anfield, get involved and watch that video. Anyway, we shall return in about, I don't know why I looked at the screen. I was hoping that was going to tell me the answer, but didn't. Half an hour's time for the watch along. Hope to see it over there. Yeah, I can't see a clock, but I can see a cock.
Yeah. Why did you see yourself on the telly screen?
Yeah. Right, yeah, half an hour's time. Check back for the watch. I love you guys. See you soon. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want even more Redmen TV content in your lives, both in video and podcast formats, do check out our subscription service, Redmen Plus, over on the redmentv.com. And Ross, why should these good people sign up to Redmen Plus?
You should do that right now because you'll get access to exclusive documentaries, interviews, and all our pre- and post-match content. Plus, for the business end of the season, there's 2 games a week for most weeks, so you get even more for your money.
Head on over to the redmentv.com and sign up to Redmen Plus.